Hello, this is Bill Zahler from the Wellness Warriors Ministry, and today we're going to discuss exercise. How much exercise should we be getting, and what are some of the pros and cons about moderate versus more rigorous exercise. So to start, I want to talk about some miscellaneous issues regarding exercise. And let me start by saying that some people are really overdoing it to their physical detriment. Also, it's important to know that exercise is second only to diet in its importance for our physical health. Also, it appears that less than 20% of adult Americans engage in regular vigorous exercise. Note that it takes more physical exercise to burn calories from fatty foods than it does to eat fewer calories, lower calorie food in the first place. Just by way of example, if you consume a quarter-pound cheeseburger with a milkshake and fries, which is about 1,100 calories, you have to run about 11 miles to burn off those calories. That's quite a bit. And it's interesting to me that in our country, more than ever, we have elaborate specialty food supplements now just for athletes and those who exercise a lot. I want to go on record as saying that many of these supplements are unnecessary, some are harmful, and some are okay. So we have more people than ever participating in a variety of athletic events, including running events, which I am quite familiar with, 5K races, 10K races, 6.2 miles, 10-mile events, half marathon events, marathon distance, which is 26.2 miles, 50 kilometers, which is 31.07 miles, 100-kilometer races, 100-mile events, and even longer. So in some ways, we tend to overdo this exercise issue, just as we overdo other things in our lives sometimes, like spending and eating and gambling and use of our cell phones and etc., etc. Also in our country, more so than ever, we have a powerful and growing interest in taking care of ourselves, and so we have personal trainers, a new phenomenon. We have life coaches. We have more elaborate and competitive athletic events than ever before, things like what they call the Tough Mudder event and so on. Most of this, I think, is very positive, although in some cases it leads to adverse health issues and injuries. So, one thing that's true for everybody, even people who are confined to wheelchairs, we all need some exercise. And this exercise should involve stretching and maintaining our range of motion. It should involve strength building. It should involve aerobic activity, and even exercises like yoga. Yoga has tremendous health benefits in several ways that other exercises do not offer. And here is one of the core and most important questions about the particular exercise you're engaging in and how much exercise you're engaging in. And that is the question of, does it extend my quality life years? Quality life years are those years that we live without chronic disease and reliance on a whole bunch of medications and reliance on the medical system. Does it extend my quality life years? And so to talk about that just a little bit in a very interesting way, let's talk a bit about the longest lived people in the world, those who live to be 100 to 125 years old without chronic disease. So what do they do? Well, these people all engage in moderate exercise regularly. Things like walking, most all of them are avid walkers, dancing, farming, many of them are farmers, and some are runners and so on. And so who are these people groups who live a long time? For example, the Hunzas people in northern Pakistan, the Vilcabamba people in southern Ecuador, the Okinawans, the Abkhazians in Russia, and even some of the Seventh-day Adventists in our own country. The Vilcabamba people in Ecuador have a very interesting and I think important saying. They say, we have two doctors, a left leg and a right leg. So they have integrated into their thinking this issue of how important it is to exercise regularly. Now, another key point, very important point, moderate exercise offers most of the health benefits of more intense exercise while minimizing the risk of orthopedic injury and minimizing the risk of heart damage also. So short, intense exercise tends to burn more carbohydrates, whereas slower, longer exercise may burn more fat as fuel. Researchers have found that regular moderate exercise tends to decrease appetite, food intake, and body weight, whereas vigorous exercise tends to increase appetite and food intake. Also, moderate exercise can improve your resting metabolism, that is, how fast you burn calories. On the other hand, intense exercise may actually decrease your metabolism as you start to burn up calories so quickly that your body tries to conserve energy by slowing down your metabolism. Moderate exercise may improve your immune system function, while excessive exercise may depress your immunity. And part of this is because you create such a tremendous free radical damage from excessive exercise. A study of 2,300 marathon runners found that runners who ran the marathon had 6 times the incidence of colds and influenza, while compared to those who decided at the last minute that they would not participate in the marathon event. Also, yo-yo exercising, that is starting an exercise program and stopping it, starting it and stopping it, can be quite problematic, especially when engaging in intensive exercise. Many people, if not most, find it very difficult to persevere when they start out doing extreme, overly rigorous exercise. I wanted to talk today just very briefly about cardiovascular disease and marathon deaths. There are a number of people having fatal heart attacks during half marathon and marathon runs. There's a definite trend that is not a large number of people, but nonetheless, when you look over the years, a definite trend. Most of these people who died during these running events very likely were not sufficiently conditioned to do what they were doing, and we strongly suspect most of them were consuming the high-fat, very unhealthy standard American diet that consists of a lot of fatty food, not enough fiber, not enough healing nutrients, and so on. Other of these runners who had these adverse cardiac events were probably overweight or had other medical conditions that predisposed them to these adverse events. The first marathon runner, Phidippides, his name is Phidippides, is believed to have dropped dead of a heart attack at the end of his run. I want to cover some of these adverse events. In April of 2012, Boston Marathon. In February of 2012, Myrtle Beach Marathon. In November of 2011, New York Marathon and the Philadelphia Marathon. In October of 2011, the Chicago Marathon. In all of these events, they had people dying from heart attacks. In the 2009 Detroit Marathon, 3 men died of heart attacks. A 17-year-old girl, Morgan Wilson, suffered a cardiac arrest on July 8th while running at the Anaheim Tennis Center and died. 2012 London Marathon, 30-year-old female died from cardiac failure. 2014 London Marathon, 42-year-old man died from myocardial infarction. And here's an interesting and important finding. In 2014, this year, at the inaugural Rock and Roll Half Marathon, this is 13.1 miles in Raleigh, North Carolina, 2 men ages 31 and 35 died of cardiac failure. To talk about this a little bit more, by age 10 to 12 in our country, children are showing fatty deposits in their carotid arteries due to the way they're eating. One fatty meal can constrict our coronary arteries for hours. Running more than 4.4 miles a day or walking more than 6.6 miles may increase our risk of adverse medical events during exercise. A study of 42,000 top athletes showed, however, that these people as a group lived longer than a general population, even though they exercised very rigorously. According to some research at the Tufts University, moderate exercise may slow the aging process, which is an interesting finding. I wanted to mention that many elite athletes, if not most, like Brendan Brazier up in Canada, the Tarahumara Indians in Copper Canyon, Mexico, the Ethiopians, the Kenyans, all consume plant-strong diets. So our recommendations is that if you're going to engage in an exercise program, get medical clearance so that you have a level of confidence that you're not at risk of hurting yourself. Do be physically active. We urge everybody to be physically active. Eat a plant-strong diet so you do not damage your coronary arteries by eating too many unhealthy foods. And we would recommend that if you do eat the way the average American eats, eating an unhealthy diet, avoid regular intensive exercise. I wanted to reinforce the idea that walking is a terrific exercise because you can walk slowly, moderately fast, or very fast and get your heartbeat up and so on. Our recommendations further is that you be sure that you are adequately conditioned for the type of exercise you're doing and for the extent of exercise that you're doing, because this conditioning process involves your entire body, your heart, your lungs, your muscles, your bones, your tendons, and so on. It was great being with you today, and we urge you to stay in touch with Wellness Warriors Ministry. Our website is mywellnesswarriors.com. You can friend us on Facebook. The name on Facebook is William Zahler, Zahler, and the email address is wazahler@gmail.com. Thank you very much.